Welcome back to the third episode of the Salty Boys podcast. I'm your host, Evan Krause, here with my co-host, Dylan Johnson.
What's up?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're on our third episode.
Third episode already.
We making it.
That's
We out
pretty
here.
nice. That's pretty nice.
So today I wanted to get onto the topic of CSGO. That's a really what's the word I'm looking for? It's a game that's really close to our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
We've both been playing for a long time, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that.
So
today.
CSGO, if anyone doesn't know, is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It's
Yeah.
the third installment of the Counter-Strike game development franchise itself. So it's the most popular by far. So yeah,
It's pretty cool.
yeah.
It's only on PC. Well, it's best played on PC. It is on.
It's only on PC. It's only on PC.
No, but it's a first-person shooter. It's got its own esports like league. It's that big. It's one of the most, in my opinion, most competitive esports out there.
100%.
Just because of
100%.
how the mechanics work and stuff like that. But yeah, kind of give them a background of how long we've been playing that game, kind of, where it's taken me and then us.
Okay. Well, for me personally, I've been playing it since the beginning of freshman year of high school, which was about 6 years ago. Since then, I've played it religiously. Taking a couple 1 month breaks here and there. Like right now, I haven't played it probably a couple months, but it's been a game that I've always followed with the esports and everything. I genuinely believe it's the most fun esport to watch because you can just understand it even if you aren't a pro.
Yeah.
And it's just something I've followed and been religious with, and so for the last 6 years, it's just been. It's my favorite game of all time.
For sure. Mine too.
Just because of what I've been able to do with it, the people I've been able to meet, and just the overall fun and competitiveness I've been able to have with it. So, yeah.
Give them a little background of your team, because pretty much, as an amateur, you can create teams and you can play for teams and essentially work your way all the way up to the pros. Kind of give them a background of what happened there with you. First team.
My first one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I started. So back when I started, obviously everyone starts out really bad, and when you play it a lot, you start to grow in skill and all those things. And there's a point where you stopped playing a little bit, and I was playing by myself, and I played on a third-party platform called ESEA, which is essentially where really competitive people go to pay to play for better servers and to play against like-minded people who want to get really good at the game. Yeah. And so it has their own rank system, and it goes from S tier, which is the pros, to G tier, which is like the semi-pros who are can get invited to S occasionally. And you have to be invited to G and S. And then there's A, B, C, all the way to D. Yeah. And it goes like D minus, D, D plus, C minus, C, C plus, if everyone understands that. When I first started ESEA 3 years into my game, I got C minus. Right? And so you were on a break, and I was just grinding the hell out of the game. I met some people that were like-minded who just wanted to grind some ESEA pugs and pick up games. And we just kept snowballing, and then I started to get pretty damn good at the game, just because I would lock myself in my room for 6 hours at a time at 1 a.m. and just play pugs all night. And eventually, I got all the way up to B plus and A minus. I would fluctuate from B plus to A minus, which is essentially A minus is very, very, very close to the edge of semi-pro. And so ESEA also hosts these tournaments for each rank, I guess, skill group. And you have to have a team of 5. It can't just be random people. You have to have the same team of 5 throughout the entire tournament. And you can win money through those, especially in the higher tier ones. You win a pretty decent amount of money. And so I was playing this. I was in A minus at the time, or there is no A minus. I think it's just A.
I think it's A.
I was in A. I was in the lower part of A, to be honest. And I was playing with these guys that were essentially semi-professionals,
Yeah.
in the G tier, and they had to be invited to that. But they have alternate accounts that they don't try to mess up their like win rates and stuff like that. They still want to be competitive, but not necessarily. That is like their G tier account is their professional identity on online and with CSGO. So I was playing on this A tier with them, and I was having myself a game. At the current time, I was an opper. AWP is a gun in the game.
Sniper.
It's a sniper. It's a one-shot kill to the chest, two-shot kill to the leg, and you have to be honest, be very skilled, very quick, and all of that jazz with the op.
It's hard.
It's very hard, and some of the best players in the world are oppers. You look at Fallen and previously Skadoodle and Olaf Meister, all these things. And so I was opping at the time, and I had myself a game, and there was a major semi-pro tournament, G-rank tournament coming up, and this dude hit me up after we played a couple games together, and he said, "Hey man, we are actually down a fifth for our G League tournament, and we actually want to be able to play in it and not be disqualified or not just be able to, like, we paid money to enter this. Will you just be our stand-in? It's from Saturday to Sunday, single elim, and there was like 64 teams in it, and so we played a lot of games in 2 days, and with them, we ended up winning that tournament."
Damn.
My first tournament ever playing in any competitive way was in a semi-professional tournament.
Hell yeah.
And we won money. And I actually played very well in that tournament. I don't know if these guys are still around and play together or not, or if they've made pro anything, because they were very, very good. I was easily the worst on the team, yet I kind of just went off that weekend, and I don't know what happened with that, to be honest. But they had a prize pool of, I think, first place, which was what we got, was, I want to say, like $500.
That's not bad.
That's really good for a semi-pro. So the prize pool is $500, and I think per team you only had to enter $50 for the entire entrance fee.
Team? Huh.
Yeah, and so I obviously didn't pay my entry because I think their person like broke an arm or something like that and couldn't play.
Damn.
And so then I got asked to play, and so I didn't have to pay any entry fee. And since I was a stand-in, I felt bad taking $100.
Yeah.
So I just said, "Hey, let me take 50 and be on my way." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." So they got a little bit more each, and I only got 50. And I was like, "Hey, I came out feeling like the fucking man."
Yeah.
And so a week or two rolls by, and another tournament pops up, and I'm just playing. I still have them on my friends list, so I occasionally played with them, things like that. And so they say, "Hey, dude, this guy's arm is still broken. We have a really small tournament. I think the prize pool was like $100 or $250, like half of that." And again, it was like 30 something teams, and ended up playing with them again, and we got second in that tournament.
Damn.
And I only ended up winning like $25, something like that.
Better than nothing.
Exactly, better than nothing. And then again, another couple weeks come around, and it was like a minor tournament. So there's major tournaments which pros play that is like on stage, like the big esports, what's streamed, what you see on Twitch, all those things. And then there's minors, which are online, in which you qualify for majors. Yeah. And semi-pro have the same thing. They just don't have majors.
Right.
But minors are like their the majors. Yeah. And those are like a $5,000 prize pool.
Damn.
And so they asked me to come back for that. And I'm fucking psyched out of my mind. And what's really there's like 100 teams in that, because there's so many semi-pro teams, because the only qualification you need is to be rank G. And all members need to be at least rank G. And if you have a stand-in, they can be at least rank A or B. Like, it doesn't matter what the stand-in is, because you might get shit on with a stand-in anyway. But keep in mind, I've been playing with these guys for like about a month now, and we got some good chemistry and stuff. And we as a team didn't really perform very well in this minor. We ended up getting we went pretty far. I mean, we got like 12th out of 100.
That's not bad.
So we didn't get any money, unfortunately. But essentially for a month, I was a semi-professional CSGO player, and I've won $75 total. Not very much, but I took obviously less than they did. And out of those two tournaments, if I was a full member of their team, I would have won $150.
That's awesome.
And 2 weeks.
It's amazing.
So yeah, that's one thing I really like to brag about is I was not a semi-professional player, but technically I was because I did get paid for playing Counter-Strike. And yeah, I played in semi-professional tournaments 3 separate times. And then I took a big break after that. And I've never really played super, super competitive since. But if I had the time, I would 100% because I think I could still make it back to at least rank G.
Yeah.
And be invited and stuff like that.
That'd be awesome.
That's my story with semi-professional gaming.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah.
We a lot of the viewers at home don't know that me and you created a team.
Yeah, we did.
So we had let's see, me and you that obviously were in the same state, and then we reached out to a couple other people online. Just this, there was this page that you could pretty much say, hey, look, I'm looking for these kind of players. I'm looking for a opper, someone who can do, run the sniper rifle position, someone that can be a support player, and then someone that can be more of a like an entry fragger, someone who goes into every battle and kind of scouts everything out and tries to get a kill first. So we kind of had our own spots here and there. I was a support. You were a, I guess you could call yourself a support, right?
Yeah, I was IGL.
IGL,
too. So IGL is in-game leader, which is the one that calls the strats, makes the strats, and tells everyone what to do pretty much. Because since I was the only one with experience in the very high-level competitive game, you asked me to be IGL. So
and that was interesting, man. We had our own plays and everything.
Oh yeah, I was great.
You did your job for sure. We practiced a decent amount during the weeks. We started to finally scrim against teams. Like he was saying earlier, we played some ESEA games and stuff like that, and you can find scrimmages on there where you can play against other teams. So we got to be able to do that for a while. Sadly, we did disband, which kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It's just, life happens.
Yeah.
People had things they had to do, other priorities. So that's just...
It was really unfortunate.
That's just how it goes, but we were pretty good.
Yeah. I think our average skill level was probably on the C+ range, low B-.
Yeah, low B-.
So not quite there, but definitely...
I think we could have gotten...
Yeah, we were unable to do any tournaments or anything like that. We got about a month and a half in with lots of scrimmages, did pretty well. And, but yeah, unfortunately, someone had like a summer thing that they had to do.
So they were gone for
the entire summer, and someone just said, hey, I got to focus on this. And so it just kind of disbanded from there. But yeah, we were very lucky because the very first 3 people we talked to just meshed like crazy, and it was really exciting. And then unfortunately it went away and things. So
that's just part of it, though.
Making teams is very difficult for anything.
Yeah, 100%. We both still love this game. It's something that we still play.
Love it to death.
Quite often, even though if it's not as consecutive throughout the weeks and stuff like that. But for the people that don't exactly know what the game is about, essentially you have a terrorist side and a counter-terrorist side. And obviously the terrorist is trying to plant a bomb, and the counter-terrorists have to either defuse or get all the kills. And so that one it's interesting. You have to use all of these pieces of utility, like a smoke, a grenade, a flashbang, something like that, in order to get from one, point A to point B without dying. And it is very triggering, and it can be, you can get pretty heated.
It was where the salty boys were made.
Exactly. One thing that the game used to have, I don't know I'm sure you remember it. But it was probably back in like 2013 or 14. After every single match, the game was over, you could talk to you could talk to the other team.
Yeah.
And so people, there was allegedly hackers in the other team, and if you thought someone was hacking, you would just
you had about 10 seconds to just go ballistic.
You just yell at each other, and you started, it was just like butting heads.
It was like prime Call of Duty trash talk. It was great.
Oh yeah, it was just screaming, cussing, saying, you cheater, all this kind of stuff. Man, that was
what's
wild.
Up, little bitch?
Yeah, what's up,
like
little
essentially
bitch?
What do you think is the weirdest thing someone has said in that little chat after? Because I'm thinking of one that I can't remember exactly, but I have the gist of it.
I mean, all of the ones that I was I was shocked by were when we would get just destroyed, and then they would just talk shit like how bad we are. When it's like, sometimes you have a bad game.
Yeah.
I don't know of any instances like in particular,
Yeah.
but I remember being called like a grandma a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had
Because
like
your reaction
slow
time
aim or
was
something.
slow. Yeah.
But I don't know. That was also when we started, or at least I started playing games. So like I wasn't good.
Yeah.
So they just were able to roast me.
I love all the guys that were like really weird, and I remember this one guy who's on the enemy team. He was terrible, and his own teammates were like trash talking him through like the typing. Not even like they could have been trash talking him through the voice. We don't know, but through the typing, they would just be like, "This fucking idiot," like all this shit on him, like this fucking dope, all this shit. Because apparently he was high, but
oh no.
I remember it was like halftime, and he was just like, he would just go into the mic and go,
Oh,
and just his teammates would get so mad and be like, "Shut the fuck up," whatever his username was. It was like, I don't remember exactly.
beep beep, I'm in a chief.
Yeah. But and then at the end of the game, he was just like, "Guys, really great game. I'm gonna go tweeze my nipple hair and go smoke some weed." So and that was it. That was the last I heard of him. But no, CSGO has brought so many memories. Like you just mentioned, beep beep, I'm in a Jeep.
Yes.
Some of the
classic.
names that are on CSGO are some of the funniest things I have ever witnessed. And it like I still think we've seen some more raunchy and funnier ones, but I think the first funny one, beep beep, I'm in a Jeep, was for some reason tickled my fancy, tickled my peaches like no other. Daniel was with us, and we were just dying.
If you don't know who Daniel is, you definitely need to go watch. What was it, the second episode?
First episode.
First episode. Learn a little bit more about him. He's a character.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't listened to the first episode,
definitely go.
CSGO is how the Salty Boys became a thing, and obviously we don't need to go into detail about that. If you guys want to know how the Salty Boys became a thing, check out our first episode. It will be potentially in the link down in the description,
yeah,
but it's just episode 1, the pilot. It's about 30 minutes long. Check it out.
Yep.
It's how we met and how the Salty Boys came about, and you'll learn about the special character that is Daniel.
Daniel.
Still need to have him on.
Oh, we will.
And talk about CSGO.
Oh, we definitely will.
What's some of your favorite CSGO moments?
Oh my gosh! So
I have plenty.
I have a lot.
I think we should. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that come up in my mind are ones where I have shit on someone or gotten destroyed so bad that
and they
I
weren't
rage
even
quit.
hacking.
I remember one game we were playing Dust 2, and Dust 2 is like an original map from all of the first Counter-Strikes, and it has been remade and remade and remade throughout the whole scene of the game. And so it's a classic, and there is this part of the map where you can look straight up the middle from to the T side where you are, way up above, and you can look down this alley into where the CTs are. And so if they peek through the door, a lot of times if there's an opper on the TC side, again the sniper, you just shit on them.
Yeah.
And I remember running. I had an op, and I was running through those doors, and I turned and jumped and no-scoped and fucking killed the guy in T-spawn. Craziest play I've ever had in my life. I mean, just destroyed this kid. And he went off in the chat. He's like, hacker, all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it makes you feel so good when people call you a hacker.
I'm like, I just nutted down your throat.
Yeah.
Also, in my prime, and now this sounds lame as shit, when I was 14 years old, that was my prime.
Really? 16 was my prime. I was 16 when I played in those tournaments.
14 was definitely my prime. It was when my aim was the best. Well, my aim is pretty good now. I think it is more like precise than it was, but I was able to hit none of your shots then.
Because you tried them.
Because I tried them.
Now you're a little slower, methodical.
Yeah. And I whipped out my AK, also on the same map, except it was on the B site, which is just a completely different thing. It's more like compact, and you kind of have to rush in from a couple angles. So it's really hard to hold. But I ran out through tunnels, and I just started one-tapping through smoke. And I literally hit like 3 people in a row with one taps, like just boom, boom, boom. And they would not. I mean, they tried that. My team tried to kick me.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone thought I was hacking. Even my team thought I was hacking.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you don't get that. Just,
it's the
sometimes
luckiest
it
thing
happens.
in my life. Yeah.
Sometimes it happens. And so those were probably my 2 best memories.
I
just
can
because
honestly,
destroyed
because of
someone.
how much I've played, I can think of like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Um, I think I could go in chronological order, but
do it.
so there's this one moment. Daniel knows this. I actually have a clip of this hidden on my YouTube.
Oh no.
Daniel knows this. He was in my game. Daniel, if you're listening, fuck you, because I called this shit. So we're in T side of Mirage, probably my favorite map of all time. And I pull out this gun called the Negev, and it's just this fully automatic like shit show of a gun.
It's a LMG.
LMG,
So
so it's huge. You move super slow. Has like 150 bullets. And before the current update, where it made it kind of a laser, it was just all over the place. But for some reason, I could control
He
it
was so good
like
with it.
a god. And this gun, like, it triggered everyone if you got killed by it. And so I said, "Hey Daniel, we were winning, not too handily, but we were probably gonna win." I said, "Hey Daniel," he goes, "What?" I said, "I'm gonna get a Negev ace right here. I'm calling it."
And an ace is if you kill all five
players
by
of
yourself.
the team. Yes. Said, I'm gonna get a Negev ace right here. And he goes, "No, you fucking won't." And then so what I was saying, like a lot of the times you're like, "Say I won't."
Yeah.
Say I won't,
Bet I
motherfucker.
won't.
Say I won't. Say I fucking won't. And so I did all that shit, and he goes, "You won't?" I said, "Bet." Challenge accepted. You know, because I was like 15. Thought that was funny. So I'm sprinting down lower A, and all of a sudden 2 people are rushing. I get blinded, hold down mouse 1, kill 2 of them. I'm like, off to a great start. And then I'm getting shot from, I think it was like triple or something like that, which is just a spot in A site. And I can barely see him. I just whip, like 2-tap him in the head. I'm just like, holy fuck. And at this point, I'm telling my team, let me get it. Let me get it.
Let him get all the kills.
And then all of them are like, no, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Daniel's like, I'm trying to steal all these kills. So then I sprint, knife out over to what was it? Stairs, CT stairs. And I just jump, pull it out, and just start kill the next guy, right? I'm 4 kills into this ace. Everyone's trying to find this last dude. And so I'm like, my game sense is on point. I'm like, this motherfucker's rotating from B through connector because he was playing cat. Because this dude was playing cat all game. And so I sprint to connector. And I just whip it out. And all I see is a pixel of his head. 3 burst him right in the head. And I called it. And so I get that ace. And so I'm like freaking out. And then at the end of the game, you have a chance to get a drop, which usually the skins are super shitty. But I got a purple drop after that,
Oh my! Are you
which
serious?
is like a 0.05% chance. And then they all just freaked out. And Daniel's like, what the fuck? And all this stuff. So that's probably my favorite memory is
Do you
my
remember what the
called
gun was?
Negev ace. It was a Tech 9. It was some red Tech 9. It was sexy. I think I still use it. But it was worth like $3. So I just like profited $3 on Steam just by playing. But he was like, "Fuck you," all this stuff, and that was probably my favorite moment. And then there's game. What's the highest amount of kills you got in a game? I'm not trying to brag. I think you know what mine is. But I just had one game where I just fucking destroyed kids.
Mine would probably be 38.
38?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying this to brag, but you were in this game with me. I dropped 52 kills in a game, which like 30 is a really good game.
If you hit a 30, they call it a 30 bomb.
And it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, legendary.
And so I hit a 52. I was just I think I averaged like 3-4 kills around.
I think I remember.
I
Yeah,
was opping.
yeah, you
It
were
was on
opping the whole
Dust
game.
2.
Yeah.
It's on Dust 2 with you and Daniel, and I got a 52 kill win. And then one was very recently on Vertigo. I actually have this on clip too.
Vertigo.
I know. It was the first time I played Vertigo. Remember? And I was trash talking it the whole time.
You're right.
And so I was like, the map's so shit. So I was like kind of goofing around, and it was a 1v1 clutch that I was in, and I was just running around like a fucking maniac with my knife out. I had an op, and this dude was just hiding in the corner. And so I jump and guess that he's around this corner. I said, I'm going to 360 no-scope this motherfucker. And I start 360 no-scoping around random like corners. And then all of a sudden, he's just behind one. And I 360 no-scope him, actually barrel stuff him down the throat. Just I like whip out my massive cock, limp, and just like force it with my thumb down his throat.
Jesus.
And he's like gagging and crying at this point. That was a great one. God, it was so good. And then another one was Dust 2. I was running up long A, and I try to call a lot of nutty shots because if it actually happens, it's dope. So I said, hey, Daniel, I'm going to hit this no-scope on this guy CT spawn, which is like a long distance away. And so I just crouch, only see his head, no-scope, and just take his dome off.
That's amazing.
And I was like, what the fuck? And so I've just hit some nutty shots. And I've hit a couple like 5-man spray downs on B site and Dust 2 because it's so compact and shit like that. Yeah, those are some of my favorite. Those are
the reason no scopes are so crazy in the game of Counter-Strike is every single weapon you have has a crosshair except the sniper
when you're not zoomed
when
in.
you're not zoomed in. So you have no idea where you're going to shoot.
You literally
the next
guess
bullet.
where the center of your screen is.
Exactly. And so
And even then it won't go exactly straight the entire time.
if you're moving, if you're slightly moving, if you're strafing,
and if you're
anything
not
like that.
zoomed in with the op, it will not go exactly where it is.
Exactly.
It's supposed to.
So those shots
It's
are
luck
crazy.
and skill a little bit.
Yeah.
Because skill, you got to know where around the center is, and then luck to see if it finds the target. But
They have
I like to think of myself as a no-scope god and a Negev god. 'cause
there have been
Negev is-
people that draw dots on the center of their screen.
And you still can't.
Yeah, so they can like no scope better. And there's even monitors now that have like a built-in dot for the
Mhm.
for the middle of your screen, just so people can like no scope and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Which I
just-
think is kinda
that's
cheaty.
crazy. Yeah, I think it is too.
I think it's bullshit. Hit a
Takes away
no-scope
the
like a
fun.
man. All right, don't be a pussy.
Right,
God, fucking bitches.
hard.
But yeah, no, CSGO has produced so many good laughs and memories. Oh my God. There's been
Yeah.
some games where we just fuck around, do Russian roulette, not Russian roulette, strat roulette, or just we're shitting on them so much we just start to pull out deagles only. I also had a deagle ace headshot only with no armor against fully armored and kitted out people. I think you were with it.
I think I was there.
Okay, backtrack to one of my favorite memories. I know you remember this one. It was during our team. It was one of our scrims. We were on train, and it was a 1v5 clutch. I pick up, we just, no armor. We picked up like P250s or something like that. And so the terrorist side had a Galil, and I I pick up the Galil, and I tell my teammates, I fucking hate the Galil. This gun's a piece of trash. Like everyone's like, yeah, that gun's fucking suck. Just do as much damage as you can, man. Try to kill as many people. I was like, all right, fuck it. And so they haven't planted the bomb yet for some idiotic reason. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to go kill as much. I had no armor, so bullet penetration was fucking awful to try to combat. And little did I know, I end up clutching the round, no armor, like 4 HP with a Galil, one of the shittiest guns in the game, against 5 armored opponents. I even 2-tapped an op after he missed a shot. And that was probably one of my favorite clutches too. But
Yeah. If you don't have armor, if someone shoots you, the recoil is just insane. You just instantly start going up, and so
it's called aim punch.
yeah, that's why it's cool.
Yeah, it's
Cool that
fucking
you did that.
hard. Yeah, and no, CS:GO. It's such a competitive game that you can have so many memories of like clutches and stuff like that. You can just get so hype,
Right.
and it's fucking awesome. I remember like screaming after that because it was a close game. So
Yeah.
it was a huge play.
Back onto the Russian or the strat
roulette.
So what strat roulette is there's you can get apps for your phone too, but at the start of every round you cycle through a new strat, and so with that whole round you dedicate that round to a strat. For example, one of my favorite strats I've ever done in my life was when we were with our team.
Oh,
We were with our team, and the strat was play with your mouse on your forehead.
yeah. And so
And so you're, like,
the whole
playing
round
like
you have to try to aim with your mouse on your forehead.
I was crying laughing.
I-
It was so hard.
I think the one that I was crying laughing on was the one where you had to rebind your mouse 1 to pew pew.
Oh my god.
And so when you rebind your mouse 1, you can't shoot. So we just had Glocks, and we would act like we're playing and try to kill people, but there would just be pew pew in the chat every single time we tried to like shoot them.
You like aim at them and click. And
Yeah, even though you're not shooting, you're just playing like normal, and then they're in the chat like, what the fuck is going on? Because each time you were in a gunfight,
you wouldn't shoot at them.
no, you wouldn't shoot at them, and you would just be pew pew in the chat. So they're like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, that's amazing.
Another one of my favorites is when you have to buy a scout, no armor, and go down mid, and line up in a Civil War line, and one person is like the commander, and you have to say, like, aim, fire, and you can only fire when he says fire. And I remember there's a really funny video on, I don't know if you guys know who the crew is, like KY Speedy and all them. They had a funny moments video where they were doing strat roulette, and it was like, don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes, and shit like that. And it's so funny. And strat roulette is just such a fun concept and such a fun
they're so dumb.
Such a fun thing.
God damn, so many good memories of that game.
But yeah, that game has done wonders for me. I mean, that game has brought me out of things. It's brought me into things. It's created memories. I'll never forget that game. It's my favorite game of all time.
Oh, by far.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive will always be my favorite game of all time. I've sunk thousands of hours into it between 2 accounts.
I'm almost at like 900 hours now.
Yeah.
Which is
I think I'm at like 1,800 between
insane.
the joint Smurf one we have and mine. It's just nuts. I played so many games of that, and it's just
How many hours are in a day?
24.
Oh yeah, duh. Wow. I wonder what that 900 divided by 24 is. I'm gonna do that. See how.
Dude's a fucking idiot. Well, if you divide 900 by 20,
that's what I'm gonna.
20 is in 100, or there's 5 in 100.
37 and a half days is
essentially
how long I've played that game.
Yeah, and if you do 1,800, that's double that.
Fuck.
So.
It's so long.
Yeah, I've played about 60 something full days.
Oh my god.
Of Counter-Strike. I've wasted 64 days of my life playing a video game, but I don't see it as a waste. That game has brought me so much joy, and it really brings out passion for competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, like, the one thing about that game is you can play it how you want to play it.
Right.
One thing is if now it's kind of bad manners to like be in a high rank and like just play for fun. But most people have 2 accounts. One's called a Smurf, so they can have lower rank and they can just fuck around. And so that's what I do on that Smurf. If I lose my rank like I have now, I just fuck around. But yeah, you can turn it on and play competitive, and then the next game you can log into your different account and just lay back and like deagle only and just fuck around, and it's just so much fun. And they got like Wingman and like a gun game type game. It's just, and for back in the day when it was $15, best game price of all time. All time. And it was just worth it to every penny.
Now they have created that it is free to play.
Yeah, which I don't like.
Which I think it is okay. But you don't, if you pay or have paid for the game, you won't be with those people. So like the free to play obviously gives a lot of people more chances to play the game, but it also gives hackers a lot of
it fucks with the people who haven't paid for it.
Right, free room, and so if they get banned, well, they can just make another account and just start playing that same day. So that's kind of one of the controversial topics with that. But if you had paid for the game before, or you buy Prime, then you're not going to be set with those people, which I like.
Yeah, which is the best thing about it.
So it gives the people like the diehard fans, that opportunity to still play with who you want to play with, and then also it gives the opportunity for new people to come into the game and not have to pay for it.
Yeah, and this game is so interesting because it's actually fun to watch. I love games, and like I love Rocket League and stuff like that. And I can't watch any other esport but Counter-Strike.
Same.
I can't watch League of Legends, even though I play that very little. I find it enjoyable, but I can't watch it. Back when we played Fortnite, I couldn't watch Fortnite on Twitch. I couldn't watch other people play it. But when there was a major going on in CS, watched every game. Watched every game. And I think it, even though League of Legends and Dota are probably higher in gross net profit with the esport kind of thing, I think CSGO is easily the best esport. And yes, I have biases, but like everyone has tried CSGO at least once.
It's because no round or no game is ever the same.
What's so beautiful about CSGO is it's so easy, yet it's so difficult. The premise is so easy. You're on this side, you either try to plant the bomb,
you kill everyone. Or on the other side, you try to defuse the bomb or kill everybody. But within that,
There's so many strategies. There's so many timings. All of these things that you don't even need to understand to watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch and be like, oh, they killed everyone, they won the round, awesome.
Yeah.
You understand it. If you watch League of Legends, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
I never know what it is. What's happening in a League of Legends game.
Yeah. I've even played it, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. And the casters don't have to explain everything, and it's just such a beautifully elegant, simple game. But like you said, every round is different and can be different, and that's why you can play thousands of hours. That's why you can watch thousands of hours, and it's just
exactly
as an esport, it needs to be simple but complex at the same time,
exactly.
and that's what it hits the nail on the head perfectly with that balance of elegancy and simplicity.
Exactly.
And each map plays differently and all of that, but you don't need to know that.
Right.
All you need to know is how you win a round and why they didn't win that round in the simplest terms. And silver's the lowest rank you can have, can understand a game. And then global elites, the highest rank you can have, can literally sit there and like pick apart what happened. And it's just such a fantastically simple game. That's why, for me and for most people, when you play a simple game, it's too boring. When you play an overly complex game, it's too hard to get into. But when you have a game that's both at the same time, like a Counter-Strike or like a Call of Duty almost, more so in Counter-Strike because there's a larger skill gap. But you can just sink hours and hours and hours and interest into it because there's something to grind for.
Right, exactly.
And yet each game is the same and different at the same time. So the goals are always the same, but that never plays out the same. And that's such a good foundation of a game. That's why Counter-Strike Global Offensive has been like one of the number one games for 10 plus years, and why 1.6 was so fun and Source was so good. They just take the same formula and use it over and over, but it just works so well. And that's why
the premise of the game is
it's so simple.
all there.
It's just Call of Duty S&D.
Right.
But
it
so much better.
It is.
I'd rather play a game of CSGO than S&D on a COD any day.
Yeah.
And from CS being able to silver spraying down to pros one-tapping people, I mean, that skill gap, it never ends. There's no definitive ending point, which is so good.
Yeah.
For the longevity of the game, which is why it's been so popular. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, this game defined us when we started.
Oh yeah.
It
may not have been my first game, but it's my favorite of all time.
Yeah. Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. I think this is a game that I think we'll continue to play.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't die very soon. But
no, it is on the decline. Though.
It is on the decline, but
I mean, it's been 10 plus years this game out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
There's some updates that I don't agree with, just like every game, but it's still at its core like it's one of the greatest games. It literally goes down in history.
Yeah.
If 20 years from now you look back at esports and you don't mention CSGO, you're an absolute retard. Just it's so influential on the competitive scene too. I mean, people try to mimic it and all of that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, for all the people out here listening, definitely look it up. Go on Twitch, watch someone play, and you'll understand, or at least can see some of what we're talking about, how it's there.
And if you haven't, pick it up. It's so hard in the beginning, but once you get over that basic knowledge and that basic fundamentals of the game, I mean, you will get addicted.
Yeah.
If you like first-person shooters, this is your game. This is your game. It's my game. It's his game. It should be everyone's game.
Yep.
This game has been so much to my life and yours, and just hope it stays around. And it's going to be one of those games where we tell our kids that they're going to be like, what? It's going to be like fucking old school Donkey Kong or Pong.
Yeah.
Some shit.
That's our fucking Snake.
Yeah. It's literally, games are going to be so advanced that Counter-Strike's going to look like Snake on the fucking Nokia phone.
It will.
Which is what I'm really excited for too. But at the same time, I'm not, because games, like I said earlier, need to be simple to be able to sink so many hours into it. But
yeah. Yep. Definitely everyone let us know if you've picked it up. If you haven't, if you played before.
Yeah, what's your experience in it?
Yeah. We love to hear some funny stories from people.
Yeah, stories are the greatest. CSGO stories are always the most fun. But yeah.
I think it's been a good episode. You want to take it out?
Want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you for watching this episode of the Salty Boys podcast. And if you are listening, thanks for listening. I'm your co-host, Dylan Schmeek Johnson.
I'm your host, Evan Streaking Kraus.
All right. See you guys next week for the shittiest and most scuffed opinions on the internet. See ya.
Run it.